So now I'm going to talk about our behaviours, or the things that we do. So with the pandemic, it has affected all the things that we're doing every day, all the things that give us meaning and self-identity. Our roles as mother, father, sister, brother, our interests, our leisure, our work, being productive, all those things that we do that give us confidence and self-esteem. So with all the pandemic changing those things and altering that we have to alter and adapt them, it can really impact on our mental health and cause stress for us. So it's really important that we figure out how they're impacting on us and how we can work to ensure that the things that we're doing are keeping us well. So some common symptoms that people can have in terms of behaviour would be to have an imbalance of their occupations. So in occupational therapy, we look at occupation divided down into self-care, productivity and leisure, and that's within different environments. So if you don't have a good balance between your self-care, your productivity and your leisure, it can have a huge impact on your mental health. If you're doing too much work and constantly going, where's the self-care, where's the leisure? Those kind of things are really important and can have a significant impact on your mental health. Other common difficulties people are having would be trying to be perfect, trying to have everything all lined up, everything done in a certain way to try and ward off any worries that they might have. Another thing might be avoiding things or procrastinating around things that might be causing you worry, to try and just avoid them completely. And finally, another way that people cope with behavioural symptoms is they checking things, constantly checking and looking to feel reassured that everything is okay. And that can be exhausting and tiring. So how do we cope with behavioural changes or changes in the things that we do? So firstly, it would be really important to look at the things that were important to you, like your roles. What were you doing before? What roles did you have? Were you a mother, a carer, a sister? And how do you think you can keep up those roles now? Are there other ways you can use social media or visit people with social distancing? What were your routines before? What did you do when you got up in the morning? Was there a certain time you had your coffee or a certain place? Did you talk to a certain person on the phone, or did you have a particular group that you did every Friday evening? What were your routines and how do you think you could keep those up now? It'd be really important to just have certain routines. They're not going to be the same, but just to have a certain routine that you have, or even your new routine, that you're up in the morning, you make your bed, you come down, have your tea. It's a more leisurely pace if you're not working, or even if you are working, that when you're coming home, you have that time out to listen to the radio on the way home. But there's just certain little routines and habits that you have that are really good and helpful that you can continue on to do now to help you to manage your stress. Another way to manage the things that you do would be to have a good occupational balance. So as we said before, we can break occupation in occupational therapy. We break down occupation into self-care, productivity and leisure, and within the environment. So if you think about self-care, for example, so just the basics of washing, dressing, grooming. So just getting up, dressed, washed in the morning, and then exercising, your diet, having time for yourself, meditating, or using just any self-care activities like painting your nails or shaving your beard. Anything that you feel is looking after yourself. Then being productive. So productivity can be anything from paid employment to washing dishes, doing your bills online, anything that you feel is kind of work. Doesn't need to be paid. Then leisure, anything for fun. So we can do solitary activities such as reading or art, music, cycling, walking, any of those activities. Or we can do socialising, which would be, before would be meeting friends or dance groups or book clubs or meetups with friends or going out for dinner. But how can you do that maybe through social media at the moment? Are you having parties online? Are you having different book clubs? Or what are you doing to have some fun? And the environment. Where are you doing these different things? Obviously, we're limited with our environment, but at the same time, even within one house or one room, you can change the environment that you do things in. So if you have a table that you do certain things at, then maybe change it to sit at a chair at the window to do something else. Or move from the front of the house with the sun in the morning to the back of the house with the sun in the afternoon. So just little changes like that would be really important. And having a balance between self-care, productivity and leisure is really important. A lot of people find that they become unwell when they don't have that. And a lot of people I'm talking to seem to be doing a lot of productivity and not enough time for leisure or self-care. Once you feel like you have a list or an idea of the things that you want to do, your occupations, the next important thing might be to have some structure. To have some structure in your day and in your week. This depends on how you're feeling and where you're at the moment, but even just to break down every day. So break the day down into morning, afternoon and evening. It makes it more manageable, and rather than thinking, oh, what am I going to do all day today or how am I going to get through this week? Just break it down so that it feels more manageable chunks. So within a day, it's really good to think of those self-care, productivity and leisure activities and how you might incorporate some of them to have a nice balance in your day. And the same across a week. How can you put in some of those activities that they can be a nice balance over across the week? So when you're thinking about the occupations and the things that you're doing every day, it's really important to check in with where are you at today? How are you feeling today? What's your mood like? How is your anxiety levels? How is your stress and how are you feeling? And base your day around that. So if you're having a really tough day, you feel stressed and anxious today, maybe you won't do all the things that you would normally do in a day. So you need to change it and adapt it to where you're feeling, where you're at. So that might mean if you're not going to do your exercise, a full 2 kilometre brisk walk, maybe you might just get out to the garden and you can just still get that fresh air. Or if you're not going to be productive and get, some people are cleaning out drawers and doing lots of productive things, but even just for you to clean the dishes or clean the countertops and just have certain things done in the day, make your bed first thing in the morning. It's really important to just grade it for where you're at right now and don't feel that you have to be doing all these things. So getting through the day and feeling good about it is really important. So make sure to put it at a certain level that you're going to achieve those things and feel good. It's also good to think that occupation is therapeutic. So on a day where you might not be feeling like doing something, it's okay to say have a relaxed, chilled out day, or maybe don't do all the things you had planned, but do some of them. And see how you feel after it, because by doing certain things and just pushing yourself a little bit, it can be really good. And you might just go, oh, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I got out for that short walk, even if it's to the front gate or down the road and not necessarily your brisk walk that you've done before. But all those occupations can be really therapeutic and really good for your mental health. So just a note about setting goals or starting new plans. If there's something you want to do that's new or something that you want to try, or maybe take up something that you've done in the past, for example, art. Instead of saying, I'm going to take up art and that being a daunting task and maybe you might procrastinate or put it off, break your goals or your plans down to really small, easy steps. So for example, just go and find where your art supplies are, pull them out and have them out. Step 1. Have a look through them, see what's there, see what you might need to get. That's step 2. Step 3 is maybe start taking them out, testing out the colours, seeing what colours to go together. Step 3, maybe start to paint something very, very simple. And by that stage, you've already got it out, you've got the steps going, it's easier to do it and to keep continuing on. So for any goal that you have, just start off by taking small steps. And if it doesn't work, just keep with that one step. And once you get to the next step, just keep going really surely and slowly. But if you have a step back one day, that's fine. Don't beat yourself up and don't be hard on yourself. Just do your best and just keep going and look for consistency. If you can keep at step 2 for a few days, a few weeks, that's great. And then when you're feeling more comfortable or just want to give yourself a little bit more push, go to step 3. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you.